Welcome to the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Pluff. Each week, we will cover various topics that dads struggle with in their fitness journey. I'll give you actionable steps that you can apply right away, not only to take back control of your own health, but so you're able to be a better example for your kids too. So today I want to talk about a topic that I think is very important and something that isn't addressed enough. And that is why or why not we should label food as good or bad. Now, this is something I know that most people struggle with because we grew up believing that vegetables are good for us, protein's good for you, dessert is bad for you. And you maybe still be thinking this way. And what my wife and I have really tried to do with our kids is to label foods as more nutritious or less nutritious. We talk about sometimes foods. And so my son understands that cheesecake is something that I enjoy. It's something that he has found that he really loves, but we call that a sometimes food because we know it doesn't have as much nutrition as maybe Greek yogurt or fruit or things like that. There's not as many vitamins, there's not as many minerals, there's not as much nutrition overall. And so we try and not label things as good or bad because when you label something as bad, that doesn't mean you're never going to eat it because you think it's bad for you. It means you're going to eat it at some point, but you're going to feel bad about it. And when we're talking about losing weight, yes, the quality of your food matters, but overall, it's the caloric consumption that matters most. And so if you're eating 2000 calories and your maintenance level calories is at 2400, you're going to lose weight at 2000 calories, whether that was 2000 calories of pizza or 2000 calories of salad. You're still eating in a caloric deficit. Now, would your body composition look a little different if you were eating lean meats and vegetables and fruits and good grains and things like that, rather than maybe microwave meals and birthday cake and all this stuff? Sure, but it doesn't necessarily mean your weight is going to be different, because the most important thing here is eating in a calorie deficit. And if I told you that yesterday I had some ground beef, I had a few vegetables, I had a couple pieces of toast, and maybe I had a cheese stick, you would be like, "Hey, that's not too bad." Now, if I told you I put it all together and had a cheeseburger, you'd be like, "That is bad." But it's the same exact food. My cheeseburger has ground beef. It's got bread. It's got cheese, right? It has some vegetables on it. And it's the same exact thing. But in our head, that cheeseburger is terrible for us, right? But if I eat the ground beef separately with some vegetables on the side, and maybe some toast with my eggs in the morning, for some reason, we believe that to be a little bit better. It's the same amount of calories, it's the same exact nutrition. We just put it together and call it a cheeseburger. Now, cheeseburgers are something I love, and I used to try and stay away from them. I used to try and stay away from Sour Patch Kids, cheesecake, dessert, all of these things, because I believed they were terrible for me, and they were not going to allow me to reach the goal weight that I had set for myself. And when I started tracking calories and I realized that I could still eat these things and reach my goals, it really just opened up a whole new kind of way of thinking for me. And it made things so much more enjoyable, because now I set days where I'm going to enjoy a cheeseburger. I'm going to have some Sour Patch Kids in the evening when I'm watching Netflix with my wife. And I'm still going to be able to reach my goals, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it because it's all accounted for. Now, if you're eating cheeseburgers regularly, it's going to be harder to reach some of your goals, because they are more caloric dense. They have a lot more calories in them, and that's kind of the same way when you're going out to eat. A lot of the meals you have at a restaurant are much higher in calories than a meal you would typically cook at home, because you might not use as much butter, you might not use as much ingredients, and the portion size is much more difficult to control. And so we think of these foods, we think of fast food, we think of going out to eat as bad because they have so many calories. But if you only ate half that meal, brought it home the next day, you just cut your calories in half. You still enjoyed your favorite foods there, and you're still working towards your goals. And so my goal for you is to stop thinking as foods as good or bad. Start thinking of them as more nutritious and less nutritious. Some foods are going to help get you to your goals quicker. Some might take a little longer, but there is a place for all of them. That concludes this episode of the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. Thank you for those of you who took time out of your busy schedules to listen. If you have any questions or comments or an idea for a topic for a future episode, please feel free to reach out, and I'd love to hear from you.